So I've just recently turned 21 and I have learned a few things over the last year, and I'm going to summarize one of the main findings I've uncovered in the last few months particularly, and sum it up under this not necessarily smaller but more generalized idea that's um, something that can encompass a lot of the value from the fundamental constituent components of what I've garnered. So it's really based on the premise that what you achieve internally trumps every facet of what you could possibly achieve externally, because the people who succeed externally only actually appreciate that or have the capacity to have gratitude for that when they've already achieved of a sense of internal victory already. Now, this is a pretty vague thing, and it's spouted a lot around media, social media, online, and um, when I heard people talking about this, oh, it has to come from within, I didn't really understand what it meant because I obviously hadn't done it, and just saying something to someone isn't going to give them the knowledge of how to do it. It's something that you need to kind of find yourself, and then you begin to actually appreciate, oh, I suppose it was actually right. It's kind of hard now that I'm recording this video freestyle without a script or anything whatsoever to articulate it concisely, but I'm going to try and do my best. Basically, there's a lot of things that get added to your list on your tasks for the day to do with your mind as you get older, because as an adult, as opposed to as a child, you need to handle more things, like more complex emotions like betrayal. You begin to understand more about the actual motives behind why people do the things they do, and a lot of people can't stick with this, and they can't really stand it because they like to feel good, and they soothe themselves with these external devices like alcohol and drugs to stave off the flow of oncoming negative emotion that would naturally ensue. I don't do that, and it's made my life, to be honest, a bit more difficult than the average person's life, but I don't regret it, and I think it's the way that everybody should do it if they fully intend to seek the truth, because there's no better way to seek the truth than to just not blind yourself to it with use of artificial consumables, which are going to hinder your emotional ability to conceive the communication from your environment. Um, so there are different tactics you can use to process your emotions, but the point is you just have to be willing to process them, and you have to be willing to accept that there is something. It might be wrong with you, it might be wrong with the world, or it might be wrong with the way you perceive a situation, the way you perceive your life. I'll give you an example. I was working in a hotel for the last year and a half, and I quite frankly hated it because I didn't enjoy being there. I didn't enjoy being around the loud, rowdy guests who drank alcohol and then clearing after them, and they keep ordering and ordering until 2 in the morning. I was only there maybe until 1 o'clock. I'd be working 9 and 10 hour shifts frequently because they didn't really know how to manage their staff regularly or properly. So I ended up there a lot of the time, and I had to make the difficult decision of leaving because I realized I'm not going to start suddenly enjoying the freedom of myself when I continue to submit myself to such painful circumstances which don't even contribute to my knowledge or intellect in any way whatsoever. So the reason I was even in that job to begin with for that long was because I didn't deem myself worthy of the privilege of leaving, because I hadn't yet gotten clients to make enough money to live by myself, and so I put myself under a whole load of pressure because I expected this external thing to come about which would justify my existence in a sense, because then I'd finally be worthy of actually leaving. And that's a flawed mindset to have, because there's nothing you can do if somebody suddenly decides not to come on board. And this happens again and again and again, because maybe you just haven't been able to think straight enough for it to happen. So I had to get my head around the fact that an internal victory actually needs to kind of take place before I even start succeeding externally in the business aspect of things. And that is my main external goal. It's to get clients for the business. But as I have changed and I have matured, especially over the last few months, seriously, there's a night and day difference between me now and me a year ago. I have come to realize that the internal victories are way more important than the external ones. And I'm in my pajamas now, you can see me. I play on my PlayStation sometimes. I would not say that in a million years this time last year, because last year and a couple of months before that, I made thousands and thousands of cold calls, which just unnecessarily put myself into a position where I had to fake and try to be someone I wasn't, because I assumed that the external validation of getting clients and making it before I was even in my third year of college would justify the pain I put myself through. And that was not obviously going to work, because, well, for one, it didn't work, but secondly, I have a more clear picture now in my head of what needs to happen. I don't know if I'm going to succeed externally with the business thing, but I know for a fact that I'm making pretty brilliant progress in the internal front. And by internal, I mean just kind of becoming yourself, the process of individuation, which is knowing what you are and what you're suited to and what you're supposed to do, the way you're supposed to do things. I sit in my bed and I read. I never go out. I never drink. I rarely eat sugar. I'm going to be eating it tomorrow now because of a birthday, but there's a lot of things that I don't do because I just don't want to. I've never had an intention of doing it. I don't pursue romantic relationships, and I don't do a lot of the stuff that other people might be inclined to do around my age. And I'm not trying to say it's because of some external differences. It's just that I have a more coherent and cohesive relationship with my internal self as of now than most people do my age. And I'm going to hope that I can make more progress in that. Anyway, that's mainly just a checkup of what I've learned in the last year. I hope I didn't yammer on too much. Thanks.